So you're a Jeep owner and you're staring down this kind of mysterious error code, P2565. You've definitely come to the right place. Over the next couple of minutes, we are going to completely demystify this thing, what it means, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Let's get right into it.
Ah, there it is, the good old check engine light. You know, it's always frustrating when that thing pops on. And the code it's giving you, P2565, it can feel like you're trying to read a foreign language, right? But don't you worry, we're about to translate the whole thing for you.
Okay, so first things first, we need to actually understand what your Jeep is trying to tell you with this code. So let's break down what P2565 really means.
At its heart, code P2565 is pointing to a problem with your vehicle's turbocharger position sensor circuit. Now, in plain English, that just means a really critical part of your engine's power system, the part that gives your Jeep its punch, isn't communicating the way it's supposed to.
So, why is this code such a big deal? Well, because ignoring it can lead to some pretty serious stuff. You'll probably start with poor engine performance, but the worst-case scenario? We're talking complete engine failure. Yeah, this is one warning light you absolutely can't afford to just ignore. All right, to figure out what's really going on, we have to do a little detective work. It turns out there are 4 main suspects that are usually responsible for triggering this code. So let's start our investigation, shall we? And here they are, our lineup of suspects, all laid out for you. This is basically our roadmap. We've got 2 possible issues with the ignition switch circuit, a potential problem with the turbocharger circuit, and last but not least, the powertrain control module itself. What's really key here is noticing how the solution is different depending on the cause. Let's take a closer look.
Now, our first 2 suspects are really closely related. They both have to do with the fused ignition switch circuit, which is, pretty essential for powering your engine. But even though they're 2 sides of the same coin, they need totally different fixes.
This chart just illustrates the difference perfectly. On the one hand, you've got an open or high-resistance problem. Think of it like a frayed power cord. The power just isn't getting through right. In that situation, the fix is to replace the circuit. But on the other hand, a short to ground is more like a faulty connection causing the failure. And here's the crucial part. In this case, the circuit needs to be repaired, not replaced. See? Tiny difference in the problem, big difference in the solution.
So, what if the ignition circuit checks out and it's not the bad guy? Well, our investigation gets a little broader. It's time to move on to our final 2 suspects.
Suspect number 3 is the turbocharger boost actuator ground circuit. This little component helps manage the boost from your turbo, which gives the engine all that power it needs to perform. If this circuit has a problem, it'll trigger the code, and the fix here is pretty straightforward. The circuit has to be replaced.
And that brings us to our final suspect, and it's a big one, the powertrain control module, or the PCM. The easiest way to think about this is like it's your Jeep's brain. It's the engine's entire control center. If the PCM itself goes bad, it can start sending out this error code. And just like our last suspect, if the PCM is the problem, the only solution is a replacement.
All right, so we've met all the suspects, and we know the potential fixes. Now, let's put it all together into a simple diagnostic roadmap that'll take you from that confusing code right to the solution.
So here's your action plan. It's really just a logical process of elimination. First, you acknowledge the code. Don't ignore it. Then, you start your investigation by checking the ignition switch circuit for either an open or a short. If that's not it, your next move is to look at the turbocharger actuator circuit. And if all else fails, your final check is the big one, the powertrain control module itself. Following these steps is the key to getting to the bottom of this.
So there you have it. That check engine light isn't a mystery anymore, is it? It's just the start of a clear investigation. You now know the 4 main suspects behind Jeep code P2565 and the exact steps to figure out which one is the culprit. So the only question left is, are you ready to solve the case?